Yeah, so welcome to this edition of our program where we talk to finalists, graduates, those that are waiting NYSC, those who are on NYSC, and those who have just completed NYSC, on how to get their best out of the accountancy profession, having studied such in school. And also, this program is also open to other people who are not who didn't with accounting, but who studied other courses, but are either taking one or two professional certifications just to get into the accountancy space or world. So today we'll be discussing positioning for international virtual accounting opportunities. Positioning for international virtual accounting opportunities. As a graduate or as a new graduate or as a finalist who has learned one or two things about accounting or accountancy, or someone taking certifications in the area of accounting or accountancy, there are so many things we want to tell you can do with the knowledge, with the skill or competence that you have, even as you are, without even becoming a professional accountant yet, without even garnering work experience per se, but with the fundamentality of the education you've acquired in accounting or accountancy. There are a lot of things you can do by way of providing various forms of accounting services, various forms of responding to various forms of accounting opportunities to give you that leverage, to give you that ground, to deepen your competencies or to take your exposure further, and also be rewarded for providing solution, right, to those who are in need of the services you can respond to, or for those who are in need of the solution your response to opportunities will provide. So that is what we are talking in summary. So as someone who studied accountancy in school, you must have done various subjects and various areas, and you must have carried out various study in the areas of financial accounting, in the areas of financial reporting, in the area of corporate reporting, in the area of taxation, in the area of the various forms of taxation, in the area of management or managerial accounting, also called performance management lately, in the area of auditing, in the area of cost accounting. So these are various areas. And of course, in the area of finance, maybe financial management, managerial finance, or corporate finance, as the case may be. So all of these that I've mentioned are core part of the curriculum or general curricula for all schools in Nigeria that offer accounting or accountants as the first degree program. Now, in the process of mastering or in the process of learning or getting acquainted with the nitty-gritty of all these titles or sub-subjects within these broad courses I've mentioned. So a lot of competence have been built into you. For example, how to pass basic accounting entries. You know, the typical bookkeeping as we used to know it. How to pass those basic accounting entries, how to trace down discrepancies and reconcile accounts, how to prepare basic final accounts, basic financial reports, so your income statement, your balance sheet, that is statement of financial position, your statement of cash flows. So, you know, all of these are basis of what you will have done under financial accounting. In financial reporting, you might have taken it to the next level, dealing with all form of reporting in line with international accounting standards. Now, it is also similar to what you do in corporate reporting, but in corporate reporting, beyond the accounting standards per se, beyond international accounting standards or international financial reporting standards, you also incorporate regulatory provision. You also consider regulatory framework, whether local or international, in helping organizations comply with their reporting responsibilities. Now, by doing management accounting, you do things that have to do with basic philosophy of management or managerial accounting. You do you deal with budgeting, all forms of budgeting, budget building. You deal with of course, you do budgetary control, which involve variance analysis, right? You deal with financial forecasting, financial estimating or estimation, as the case may be. You deal with funding, you deal with cash flow, the typical liquidity management. You deal with international finance management, as the case may be. Now you deal with even business environment business environment scanning and analysis. You do it, all those managerial supporting decision framework, right? All of this you do under management accounting. In taxation, you can do a personal income taxation, company taxation, international taxation, value-added taxation, even the withholding tax aspect, for example, dealing with payee, payroll tax obligation, and other area of taxation, quite wide, oil and gas, mineral resources, just mention it. Then in auditing, of course, there are basics of auditing, like what external auditing is, what internal auditing is, the differences, audit procedures, audit steps, audit programs, right? Audit plans, interim audit, final year audit, financial statement audit, coming up with, finalizing a typical audit, dealing with management letters, management representation. So many audit sampling, audit technique, so many areas you have covered, right? And more importantly, when you've followed the reality, when you have followed the practicality in the modern world, you can, connect all of this together while building back into what you must have learned in school. Now, for all of this, there's no of going further, even in public sector accounting, which I didn't mention, when we talk about the international public sector accounting standard, IPSAS, right? And the recommended and practice guidelines associated with that framework. Now, for all of these, there are so many things you can do with it. And these are going to go about it. Number one, join social media platforms, whether be it Facebook, be it LinkedIn, platforms that are a collection, right? Or, a pool of accountants of various categories of those involving the various form of accounting services. Now, on this platform, you are going to see persons, you are going to see organizations, you are going to see representatives of organizations from different parts of the world who have one or two things to do. Now, most of these things are done remotely. You don't need to go to Australia. You don't need to go to Canada. You don't need to go to the United States. You don't need to go to UK or any of the European country or Asian country, or even the South American countries, as the case may be. Even within Africa here, say either in Northern Africa or down there in Southern Africa, even in Eastern Africa, as the case may be. You being here in Nigeria, West Africa, can access all of those opportunities. Now, these are often the things they need. You see persons, you see representatives and companies requiring someone that's going to help them sort out even their bank statements. Trying to drill down on bank statements to pick out, discrepancies. In contrast with what such person or organizations have as balances in their own record, they need someone to drill down, to isolate, entries, line item, amounts, debits, credits, lodgements, or even withdraw from the accounts that are the source of discrepancies between what they have, in their own record and what is there in the bank statement. That opportunity is there. You also see opportunity of persons, businesses, representatives seeking someone that can deal with their sales ledger, that can deal with account receivable, either to drill them down into specific criteria that may be set by the person or persons or organization needing your expertise. It may also be about account payable or the creditors ledger typically, right? So you see persons, organizations needing you to drill down, to dissect the content of these ledgers and to come up with certain, certain dashboard, right? Grouping or categorizing the contents of the creditors ledger or the accounts payable in certain ways as defined by those persons or those organizations that want you to do one or two things for them. Even on inventory, you see the same thing. Even persons and organizations needing to, to help tidy up basic income statements and basic statement of financial position. These opportunities are there. In the session we had the other time, which I'm going to see on a YouTube video, We spoke about, leveraging the financial services industry, leveraging the regulatory provision in the financial services industry in Nigeria, and seeing how you can help individuals, businesses, and organizations deal with spurious debits, wrong debits, erroneous debits, even fraudulent withdrawals, helping them ensure you seek and get correction, right back, reversal, and recovery of funds, and recovery of excess charges. In this case, this opportunity is also available, internationally. So there are organizations and persons who want you to look at their bank statement. There are organizations and persons who want you to drill down, to do comparison, between what they have in one of their ledgers or accounts with what is found or present in what is supposed to be, a complementary ledger or a corollary ledger or account kept by another party, by certain counterparties. So you see all of these things. So these opportunities are there. So begin to join professional social media platform, professional, where you have your likes or where you have people going the same way. And most of these people are even consultant in their own rights in those other countries, but probably because of their schedule, probably because of the workload, or probably because of certain urgency of assignment, they are trying to look out for persons who can help them do all of this. So for any form of reconciliation, for any form of auditing, for any form of scrutiny, for any form of packaging of reporting, for any form of consolidation of various branches, records, or financials, all of these things do not need you to have become a professional. They do not need you to be a chartered accountant. They do not need you to be, a certified accountant or any certified professional. So the requirement is often, who can do this, A, B, C, or X, Y, Z? Who can do this? Please reach out to me. That is the form, or those are the forms through which such opportunities, show themselves. So without you waiting until you get the, white collar job, without you waiting until you are employed formally, without you waiting until you work in a structured, organization, so the banks, the oil and gas, the multinational, right, the top of big FMCGs, without you waiting for those opportunities, these are low-hanging fruits. These are low-hanging fruits you can go after. And when you go after them, you reach out. So when they send those messages on Facebook, on LinkedIn, reach out, politely, respectfully, and ensure your communication, your written communication, does not betray your competence. Because most, the popular, medium of communication is the English language in most parts of the world, right? The most popular, not the widest, right? So I don't go to, we'll talk about Mandarin and other languages spoken in the Asian region. So, but generally, the commonest medium of expression in language is the English language. So when you respond to such opportunity, ensure your tenses are correct. Ensure your expression, brief, straight to the point, and it communicates, right? It shows, it passes off, right? That of someone who understands basic English language, right? So when you have to respond to this opportunity, just either, inbox or chatting such person or such organization needing such services. Chatting, tell them is what you can do. Your name is Samuel Okoye. You are an accountant based in Nigeria, right? And you understand that the need for this, and this. That based on your competencies, that you can provide solution, you can render service or services in that regard or in those regards. Don't reach out to them. Drop your WhatsApp number, your phone number, and tell them you are available at a time convenient for both of you to either host a Zoom session, for example, to get a fuller understanding into what they need you to do. That's what you need to do. So join those social media platforms, whether they're Facebook, whether they're LinkedIn, for professionals. Look out for those opportunities, or you yourself, without even looking at, type like a graphical board, type a graphical board that your accountant who is available for virtual or remote accounting solution or services, and upload or post. Make available the media of contact, right? So that they can reach you either through email, through WhatsApp, through your inbox, through chatting you up and the likes. So these opportunities are there. They are there. And in negotiation, be very truthful, be very ethical, and tell them what you think. And because these are virtual international opportunity, I'm going to recommend get the understanding of what needs to be done, right? Now, do the job, right? Do the job, get it ready, and then tell them that on making the work available, the draft work, right? Because when you are done, there may be need for some fine tuning or for some further clarification. Tell them when you make the job available or the task, if done available, you should be paid. That fee, the service fee for such an assignment should have been agreed prior to your commencing the work. Now, for you to demand mobilization, it's going to be a difficult one. The fact is that Nigeria, we have a huge majority of Nigeria who are ethical, who are sincere, who are honest. But we have the loud, the crazy minority who are dishonest, who are fraudulent, who have very questionable character. So this loud and wide minority, have gone far in creating impression that question our integrity as Nigerians when we do international transactions or when we do transactions that are not in person, right? So coming from that background of reputation, it's going to be a hard sell to want to demand to be mobilized, to want to demand to be paid certain portion upfront before you get the job done. So I'm going to recommend, right? Give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Turn it around, pass the burden of ethical compliance to them. Get the understanding, do the job, have the understanding, I'm going to pay certain amount of money, this is the amount of money I'm going to charge, right? And understand you are charging in foreign currency, right? Yes, understand you are charging in foreign currency. And I'm going to advise you to open, a Domcellera account. For example, open a DOM account that will enable them to wire payments into your DOM account, for example, payment into your DOM account, right? Yes. Because they are going to have, of course, either they are paying you in dollar, in euro, or whatsoever. So I'm going to advise, open a dollar DOM account, right? The rates are high, but you can open as little as $50, right? Open a DOM account, or get someone who has a DOM account you can't open to give you that DOM account details, right? So when you're done with the job, the fee which must have been agreed before then, you send them the draft or finalized work, they look at it, then you ask them to pay you. Then make available your DOM account, your Domcellera account you have opened, or where you're unable to fund the opening of a Domcellera account, get a trusted person, a trusted colleague, relative or friend who has a Domcellera account, and send the details, right, to your partner, right, your client, your potential client on the other side, who has to pay you. So when the payment is made, when you do the job well, you have a close-up meeting, where you review what has been done, trying to, dot your I's and cross your T's, and to finalize the work you have done, right? After that, when payment is made, and, you've established trust. Not just trust. First of all, you've established competence and then trust. That will create an in-route for you for repeat patronage, for subsequent consulting by that person, organization, or persons for subsequent time. And also the person may even refer you that I know this Nigerian who is ethical, who is honest, and who is competent, right? Who can get certain job done. So that is a huge opportunity available. And what does it cost you? It doesn't cost you anything. When they email the document to you, but remember, that every accountant is required to display high level of confidentiality concerning any form of information that they come to be aware of by virtue of their profession, of the assignment they are given to do. Even though your counterparty is at the other side of the continent or the world, that does not give you the leeway or leverage to begin to discuss what you are seeing or what you come across in the financial of your client. That is a breach, right, of confidentiality. You have to keep every single information you get. You have to keep it with yourself, do the job, and send back or remit the document you'll be asked to work on. So that is it. That is it. So look at these opportunities are there. Look out for them, or hold yourself out there in those platforms. Say you can do X, Y, Z. Now, it has an implication. What is the implication of trying to explore international accounting opportunity? You know, what is the implication? What are the implications? Number one, beyond the accounting framework we have in Nigeria, interestingly and thankfully, we use the International Financial Reporting Standard, International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS. Now, you may be dealing with someone or company where they don't use such standard, right? Now, you may just request, you may need to be acquainted, you may need to begin to get familiar with standards other than IFRS. Maybe you are dealing with someone in America that needs to apply the American accounting standard, the one issued by the Financial Accounting Standard Board, FASB, in America, right? Now, the concepts are analogous. You know, you can extend and understand it. Nothing more different. If you're familiar with your IFRS, for example, your IFRS accounting standards, you can connect with any other gap, with any other standard issued or used in any country that is not even IFRS. Because in financial reporting, for example, there are 5 points of emphasis. Whether you are dealing with assets, liabilities, income, expense, or component of equity, these are the 5 elements of financial statements. You're either dealing with, you know, how you recognize them or how you shouldn't recognize them, recognition 1. 2, you are dealing with the measurement. How do you measure them? What is the measurement basis? 3, how do you classify or designate that asset, that liability, that income or expense? How do you classify them? How do you designate them? In the primary component of financial statements, classification or designation. 4, how do you present that item in the face of the financial statement, either in the income statement or in the statement of financial position? How do you present them? Then number 5, disclosure. So for any standard anywhere around the world, so long as that standard is an accounting standard or a financial reporting standard, right, for the 5 elements of financial statements of asset, liability, income, expense, and component of equity, right? They all those standards will deal with how you recognize them, how you measure them, how you classify or designate them, how you present them, and how you disclose them. So that's all. So the implication 1 is for us to begin to open up our mind, right, into getting used, not trying to master per se. You master your IFRS, that is fine. Begin to get used to, begin to get accustomed, right, to the little changes or differences that may exist in other reporting framework other than IFRS. That's number 1. Number 2, you need to begin to pay attention to various forms of businesses, right, that may not be common in Nigeria, they may not be common here, right, because you may require to consult or help deal with accounting or financial issue of businesses or persons that are not of the nature of the businesses that we see around there in Nigeria, for example. So that is key. Number 3, you need to be very intense. You need to sharpen up your written communication skill and also probably your spoken communication. You know, when you speak English, of course, there's going to be an interference. You know, you are Nigerian, you are African, right? And you are born here, say in Nigeria. When you speak the English language, it may be grammatically correct, right? Your expression may be okay, but intonation will reflect that you are from Nigeria or you're from certain part of Nigeria. That is fine. So there's no, do not even try to speak like an American. You're not American. You are not born there. Do not try to speak like a Briton. You are not British. You are not born there, right? Just speak normally. Speak in your intonation. Speak with the undertone of your dialect. That is fine. The important thing is that you are grammatically correct. Your expression is fine. When you write, your content is fine. The organization of your content is fine. Your expression is fine. And your mechanical accuracy is fine. So with that, you're good to go. So be more intentional, in your communication, whether written or spoken. So with this, you are positioned to explore these international virtual accounting opportunities. So that is all on this session. Thank you so much. Any question or comment? Okay, there's none. Thank you for being here. So see you again next week. Bye for now.